This is going to be my Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 8, start to finish review, and this is the mid-season finale. And I think Carol should go ahead and take that little Sam kid out. I mean, that fucking kid is crazy. So it opens up with this weird-ass kid playing in his room, drawing dark pictures with his crayons, listening to old 45s on a record player. I'm not sure where he pulled that out from, but anyway. Then we see, of course, the building collapse from last week, and all hell broke loose as the walkers poured into Alexandria. Essentially, everybody escapes by getting into various houses, and they all have to kind of separate. Eugene about dies. Deanna gets cut on a blade and ended up being bit. We also see Glenn and Enid trying to figure out a way to get in and realizing that the gate's been compromised. So they're trying to figure out what to do. Glenn wants to go in and rescue everybody, of course, and Enid's still having trouble kind of figuring out who the hell she is and what she wants to do, apparently. But we did see that Glenn knows that Maggie is pregnant. So apparently she did tell him before we saw him leave on the initial Walker migration plan, because people have yelled at me for saying zombie. And speaking of the little weird kid Sam, he had these kind of a couple moments where he was kind of zoning out, where he couldn't hear anything, and he was zoned in when Rick and them ran into the house after the herd made their way into the gates. So he seems to see Rick as a monster, as he calls them. He calls the walkers monsters, and he seems to associate Rick with that for some reason. Anyway, that kid, yeah, he needs to go. Just look at the flowers. Carol and Morgan get trapped together, and Carol apparently hit her head in the fall as they ran towards the house, and looks like she may have a concussion, or at least was faking one. The new doctor, Denise, gets trapped in with the wolf guy that Morgan had rescued and left alive in the basement of that one house where they went in last week to treat his wound. And as I said a minute ago, they found out when Michonne was cleaning Deanna's wounds in the house that she had actually gotten bit when she had fell onto the saw blade. So poor Deanna, we know she's a goner, but we're probably going to see her again. And of course, as most of us suspected, Ron tried to kill Carl. They got into a fight in the garage. He pulled a gun on him. Carl stopped him. Rick and them heard the scuffle in the garage and went out there, tried to break the lock off. Of course, all the noise in the garage attracted the walkers, so they all came crashing in through apparently a glass door in a garage, and they all had to retreat back into the house. Now in the comics, just to avoid spoilers, let's just say that Carl is not his complete self. So we thought that may happen, although we didn't see that now. So we may yet still see that in the upcoming second part of the season. But then they all make it back into the house, and Carl takes his gun from him. So I'm not sure if we've seen the end of that feud or not, but we'll see. And apparently Eugene has a skill. He can actually pick locks, because Tara, Eugene, and Rosita were trapped in a garage where they apparently had the little schoolhouse. But apparently the big coward can actually pick a lock. So as of now, that's the only thing he's been good for so far. And then we flash back to Morgan and Carol when they're trapped together in the house. It looks like an unfinished house in Alexandria, and she is feigning that she's still suffering from her concussion, which she may actually be, but she said she was resting her eyes when Morgan asked if she was okay. Morgan goes down the steps to kind of look and see what's going on outside, and Carol turns off the lights and knocks him down as he goes back up looking for her and escapes to go kill the wolf guy that's trapped in the basement. And she should. Rick pulls up a walker from the steps. They had barricaded the steps because they got into the first floor of the house and went up to the second floor, and pulls up a walker they had killed and does the old blood trick where they get some sheets and wipe walker goo all over themselves and to escape the house and just be able to walk camouflaged essentially right through the walker horde. But unfortunately, Deanna decides it's not her time yet. Michonne was going to kill her if she was ready to go, but she said she wasn't, and she had a gun ready to go when she was, and she was going to do it herself. But as the rest of them left and the walkers started filling in the upstairs, she decided to get up and fight till her last breath, and she apparently used all her bullets. I'm not really sure. It sounded like 5 or 6 to me, so I'm not really sure. So I'm thinking we may see Deanna again, only this time the walker version of Deanna. And maybe that's why she's been looking like a skull for the last few episodes. And then we flash back to Morgan. She catches up with Carol. She did, in fact, go to kill the wolf guy. She was going to kill him with a knife that she had. And Morgan tries to stop her and protect the motherfucker with his bow staff, being the Ninja Turtle that he is. So I was kind of pissed off. Morgan's acting like a dickhead here. I mean, I understand his philosophy, and he was struggling with that, but this guy is sitting there telling you that he's going to kill all of you and you're all already dead, and Morgan still wants to cleanse his wound, heal him up, and play psychotherapist like his mentor did with him apparently. And it just kind of pissed me off, honestly. I've really loved Morgan up to this point, but at this point, I've lost a lot of respect for him. Yes, I understand the philosophy, but in this situation, you know the guy's going to kill again and cause harm to your group. We've already seen that last week when the 5 that he let go in the initial wolf attack were the ones to attack Rick in the RV, so that prevented the RV from being used to lure the zombies away in the first place. So you can really say that Morgan caused all this shit. So Morgan, this is all on you, buddy. So Morgan and Carol actually get in a fight as she tries to kill this guy, Morgan ends up doing the Stone Cold Stunner on Carol, knocking her to the floor, and then the wolf guy picks up Morgan's staff and knocks him out, and then takes Denise, the doctor, hostage. You had one job, Morgan. And in the final scene, we see Rick and the gang, using the blood trick to go out, and they walk, camouflage through the horde of zombies out into the streets, and it's just packed with walkers all over the place, so they're going to have to figure out something to lure them out. From my understanding, there was like a 2-minute thing during the next show that came on, but I didn't get to see that. But from my understanding, it referenced Negan, who we'll see probably in the second half of the season. But overall, this episode, it was okay, but it wasn't really great for me. It wasn't like something I expect for a mid-season finale, although it is a mid-season finale as opposed to a season finale. But there wasn't really any cliffhangers there other than the post-credit scene that happened during the following show. My question for you guys is, do you think, first of all, we'll see a Walker Deanna, since she probably ran out of bullets there at the end, and she's going to be Walker meat? And number two, what's going on with this Sam kid? As they walk out and escape with the blood trick with the sheets of zombie goo, he starts saying, "Mommy, mommy, mommy." So what the hell's going on with this Sam kid? I mean, is he going to get him killed or what? And do you think the feud with Carl and Ron is over, or will we see that continue over to the second half of the season? So, again, overall, pretty good for me, but not what I would expect for a cliffhanger-type mid-season finale. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for all the support, you guys. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. I have more videos coming for Star Wars, Game of Thrones, as well as some other gaming videos, since you guys have been requesting some of those. So I'll be getting those out as soon as I can. In the meantime, you can click here for the last video I did on the History of the Jedi Part 1 and 2. For you Star Wars nerds, and you can also click here for the last little gaming video I did if you're interested in that, where I played Battlefront and Squadron mode. So check those out, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.